This is 3 News Now, your daily update on everything Northeast Ohio with Stephanie Haney.
Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney here on this Thursday, June 30th. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Here on 3 News Now, we bring you the stories that matter most to you here in Northeast Ohio. These are the stories that you are clicking on, reading, and sharing from our website and from our app. And we start today with the family of Jayland Walker speaking out. Jayland Walker is the 25-year-old man who was shot and killed by Akron Police earlier this week. His body was struck about 60 times and more than 90 bullets were fired by 8 police officers. So the family today at a press conference that was held at St. Ashworth Church addressed the shooting, and they are calling for people who are protesting to do so peacefully. One of the things that they said is that they want any protests taking place in his name, as I said, to be peaceful in nature, with the quote being, "We're here for peace and we're here for dignity." That came from Bobby DeCello, who is the lawyer representing the Walker family, and what he said was, they are left with many, many questions about what happened earlier this week. He went on to say, "Our job by doing this press conference is to remind the police department for the city of Akron that we are here for accountability. We are also here to uphold the dignity of this man." He then said that his family is here to tell you who he was, and he was a wonderful young man. Let's talk about what we know happened from our 3 News investigative team. They reported that records show that 8 Akron police officers fired about 90 shots at Walker, as I said, striking him 60 times. This happened in the early hours of Monday morning. Akron police say they tried to stop Walker's car for a traffic issue and an equipment issue, and then the officers were led on a high-speed chase down East Talmadge Avenue towards State Route 8. That chase lasted about 4.5 minutes. Police say there was at some point Walker firing a gun. There was one casing found in Walker's car and a second was found on the roadway near Route 8. He eventually jumped out of the car on Wilbeth Road near the Bridgestone tire offices. This is according to police. This is after the chase reached speeds of about 80 miles per hour. Police say first they used tasers but opened fire after they say Walker made motions that caused them to fear bodily harm. Sources tell 3 News investigates that some of the last shots were fired while Walker's body was on the pavement. Walker was on the ground, already dead, when medical help arrived, and autopsy records show that he was handcuffed after the shooting. He was not armed at the time that he was shot. That's according to sources. A gun was recovered inside Walker's car. The same sources confirmed. This is a developing story. We'll continue to bring you the details as we have them available. Of course, everyone is waiting for that body camera footage to come from the Akron Police Department. But in the meantime, the city of Akron has announced this afternoon that they are canceling festivities this weekend for the 4th of July holiday. Their Rib, White, and Blue Festival was originally scheduled for July 1st through the 4th. That was Friday through Monday. That's been canceled. The city is saying that all vendors and musical acts will be notified and they will be compensated accordingly. Lock 3 will not have any activities for the holiday weekend. The city says it encourages residents of Akron to find something else to do for their weekend plans. Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan said this: "I completely understand that some residents and guests will be disappointed by the decision to cancel the festival this holiday weekend. Independence Day is meant to be a celebration and a time of gathering with friends and family. Unfortunately, I feel strongly that this is not the time for a city-led celebration." City offices will also be closed on Monday, July 4th. And now today we're hearing from health officials that there is a confirmed case of monkeypox in Cleveland. This comes from the Cleveland Department of Public Health, the Ohio Department of Health, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. City officials say that this individual has had very limited contact with others for the past 3 weeks. Public health officials will reach out to anyone affected by the case. So if you're wondering what does this mean for Cleveland residents, officials at this time believe that monkeypox is not presenting a risk to the general public in Cleveland. If you're not familiar with what monkeypox is, here's how the city of Cleveland officials describe it: a viral illness. It can cause flu-like illness and swelling of the lymph nodes, and then it progresses to a rash on the face and the body. Now, most infections last between 2 and 4 weeks. It's transmitted person to person through direct skin-to-skin contact, having contact with an infectious rash through body fluids or through respiratory secretions. It can also be transmitted from person to person by inhaling large respiratory droplets or through close contact with body fluids and lesions, as well as bedding and other contaminated materials. It typically takes between 1 and 2 weeks after exposure to show any symptoms from monkeypox. It could take as long as 3 weeks. It typically resolves, as I said, within 2 to 4 weeks. So if you are experiencing any symptoms listed, as we mentioned here, people are encouraged to contact your primary care provider. Now let's talk about the big topic of conversation surrounding the Cleveland Browns. That's quarterback Deshaun Watson, and of course those disciplinary hearings for those allegations of sexual assault, which Watson has denied, continue today. This is the third day the hearings are taking place in front of presiding officer Sue Robinson. So let's take a look at some of the questions about who might be involved in these disciplinary hearings. We know that the case is looking at 5 people from the NFL's perspective. We also know that at least 24 people filed lawsuits against Watson. There was a 25th person who filed a lawsuit against him, but that was later dropped. And then we did hear from attorney Tony Busby that there were 2 other women supposed to file lawsuits, and we're not exactly sure what the status is with those cases, but Tony Busby did say that all but 4 of the cases had been settled against Watson. Now we take a look at the cases that are involved in the disciplinary hearing. They're looking at 5 cases. We know 4 of those individuals have filed lawsuits against Watson. We know that one of those people who has not settled a lawsuit is Ashley Solis. We also know that of the 5 people the NFL is considering their allegations, one of them did not file a lawsuit against Watson. So if we take a look at that, 5 people are involved in this disciplinary hearing. Their allegations are being reviewed. We know 4 of them have filed lawsuits, 1 of them has not, and we also know that all but 4 cases against Watson have been settled. So if we're making an educated guess about who potentially might be involved in the disciplinary hearings, it stands to reason that it might be those 4 cases that have not settled their lawsuits against Watson, plus 1 more. Of course, we don't know for certain because we don't know who has settled the lawsuits and who hasn't, and we don't know who the women are who are involved in that disciplinary hearing. But what we do know is that before going into this disciplinary hearing, the NFL had said that they were recommending an indefinite suspension of at least 1 year, and then for Watson to be able to petition for reinstatement after that. Some people are wondering, where did that recommendation come from? Well, it comes directly from the NFL Personal Code of Conduct policy. If you take a look at it for 2021, it specifically spells out that a violation for a criminal assault is a baseline suspension of 6 games, and then a second violation then calls for banishment from the NFL with the opportunity to apply for reinstatement. So this is not something that the NFL has come up with out of thin air, and we will continue to need to wait. We're also hearing reports that presiding officer Sue Robinson has said that she will not issue an immediate determination at the end of these hearings. So the hearings continue today. They could continue tomorrow. We don't know. They could finish tomorrow, but there are expected to be documents presented after the fact, and then a period of time for those documents to be reviewed before Sue Robinson issues a finding. So the finding that she will issue is, has there been a violation or have there been violations? And then if there have been violations or a single violation, she'll then issue a determination for the discipline that corresponds to whatever that finding is. At that point, then we get into whether either the NFL or the NFL Players Association will appeal that decision. And of course, as we go through this process, we will keep you up to date along the way. Now let's switch from football to baseball and a bit of a lighter story. Cleveland Guardians pitcher Shane Bieber and his fiancée took children from OhioGuidestone's residential program horseback riding. If you're not familiar with OhioGuidestone, it's a foster care and a family services organization. So those children got a special surprise from the soon-to-be Bieber family. They came upon OhioGuidestone through its partnership with the Cleveland Guardians, and they decided to take a group of kids to the Rocky River stables where they got a grooming lesson and a chance to ride the horses. Now it's Shane Bieber's fiancée who was actually into horses. He said that she grew up with horses in Northern California and competed in rodeo and barrel racing, and she wanted to do something special for these children. And the day was meant to be a therapeutic day for the kids, spending time in that program. His fiancée went on to say, when I was stressed as a kid, I would get on a horse and ride until I felt better. Horses made everything better for me. I want the kids at OhioGuidestone to experience the same joy I had growing up around horses. And Bieber is hoping to host more events for the kids at OhioGuidestone as that as time goes on here in Cleveland. Now let's talk about a happy story when it comes to basketball. And I'm talking about the wedding of Kevin Love and Kate Bach. That's one of the stories in this week's It's All Good News show. You can find that every Thursday on the WKYC YouTube page. It dropped at 3 p.m. today, and we show you some of the images. It's so beautiful. You see not only their love and their wedding, their Gatsby-themed wedding, so extravagant, so luxurious. It was held at the New York Public Library. Just phenomenal, and you can tell from the photos that they have so much love for each other, and you can tell from the photos that Kevin Love and his Cavaliers teammates, past and present, have a lot of love for each other too. They're beautiful photos. Check it out on the Good News Show. That and many more reasons to make you smile. And on this June 30th, the last day of Pride, on this week's 3 Things to Know podcast, I got to talk with newlyweds and TV personalities AJ Gibson and Emil Ennis Jr. Now, AJ is from Ohio. We talk all about his Ohio roots, and I met them actually during my time in LA, so a bit of acquaintances, so it was really special for me to get to talk with them about their Hollywood love story leading up to their wedding, which happened on June 20th, so Pride Month for them, and that was very meaningful for them. They had an incredible ceremony in Mexico. We talk all about that and get to learn a little bit more about why they feel it's so important for them to represent love, not only for everyone, love is love, but also for the LGBTQIA plus community. And of course, we give you what you need to know in NEO. So we talk about Studio West 117, which is coming to Northeast Ohio here very soon, and all the great resources that they'll have, as well as our good follow on social media, which this week it's the LGBT Center of Greater Cleveland. They have lots of incredible things for people to know about and ways to get involved in that community. And one more thing to let you know before we go here, if you are a big fan of Legos, there's a store coming to Crocker Park. It's coming this winter. So this will be the second location here in the Northeast Ohio area. And it's happening at Crocker Park, as I said, right before the holiday season. This is the 98th store in the United States, the 4th in Ohio. Oh, yes, only 2 in Northeast Ohio. The other one is at Beechwood Mall. There's 4 in Ohio altogether, 98 across the country. And so we're getting right in there under the top 100 in the country. That'll be happening. That'll be opening up just in time for the holiday season. Also, one more thing to let you know about before we go. If you are a fan of Arthur Treacher's, you know the last open Arthur Treacher's in the country is here in Cuyahoga Falls, and today they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. That's happening between 3 and 5:30, but if you can't make it today, they're having customer appreciation days on Friday and Saturday as well. That address is 1833 State Road in Cuyahoga Falls. All right, that's it for your 3 News Now update today for Thursday, June 30th. Everyone have a wonderful day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.
Thanks for listening to 3 News Now with Stephanie Haney from WKYC Studios. Subscribe now so you never miss an update, and find more on everything you heard here on WKYC.com and in the WKYC app.